And in this video, I'm gonna show you a little tip how you can get more of this to stand out in your mix. What's up everybody, it's Keyz from KeefKeyz.com, and on today I want to talk a little bit about a tip that I use and a trick that I use to actually have my kick drum to stand out better in my mix. Now this might not be applicable to every genre of music that may be out there, or it really is dependent on what type of music you're working on and what the track actually calls for. But if you actually have a track that you have a kick drum in it, but it's not giving you the right punch, the right dynamics, then this is a trick that can really help out and make your kick drum stand out better in your mix. See, in music, the dynamic range is the difference between the quietest and the loudest volume of an instrument, part, or piece of music. And a lot of times what we do to compensate for a kick drum that doesn't have the right punch or the right dynamics is we try to use plugins, we try to boost the gain a little bit, we try to turn up the volume. Oftentimes we may use some plugins like a maximizer or to boost the volume a little bit, but a lot of times it doesn't give you the capabilities to take advantage of all the dynamic range that a kick drum actually has. So when we talk about dynamic range, we're talking about the actual pop, the actual kick that actually hits you, that dynamic range. So oftentimes we may use some plugins to help us increase the volume of the kick drum, try to make the kick drum stand out a little bit better. But this technique is a little bit different than using plugins. And what you want to do is that you want to maintain the integrity of that dynamic range and the dynamics of a kick drum. So you don't want to use too many plugins that you actually squash and squish the actual kick part of the drum, but you actually want to accentuate it and make it stand out better in your mix. A long time ago, I was watching this video of Darkchild actually walk through his studio, and he was actually explaining things in his studio, just what type of gear he uses, all the plaques on the wall, and then real quick he interjected and talked about how he gets his drums to knot. Matter of fact, let's play the clip.
I'm an MPC kid. I grew up at 12 years old. I had my first MPC 60, and then I went to the MPC 62, then I went to the MPC 63000. I've been using it my whole life, and people say, won't you switch to Logic? I use Logic too. I use Logic and the MPC together and let them work together, and it's a magical combination for myself. All my outputs are maxed out. Left and right and 1 through 8 are maxed out. So it's a very high volume. So if you wonder how our drums sound like that, it's because they come out real hot off this MPC.
Now, if you notice in the clip what Darkchild said that he did, he said that he has his left and his right and 1 through 8 all maxed out on the back of his MPC, meaning that he has more than one drum signal. Now, this is a popular technique amongst a lot of producers, and a lot of engineers even will duplicate this as well, is that you'll take the actual bass drum track, the kick drum track, and you would duplicate it. Now oftentimes you can stack a different type sounding kick drum to give you a different sound, a different kick, and more dynamics. But if you like the tone and the sound of the bass drum you actually have, what you can simply do is just duplicate that kick drum track. Now what this does, it doesn't put strain on that one channel that the kick drum relies on. It won't rely on any plugins, and it won't boost the gain up and boost the volume up past that 0 dB where it actually starts clipping. But what it will actually do is give you more dynamics, because it's like you're having two of the same exact thing playing at once. Now I don't know about how many of y'all actually enjoy live music, but if you're in front of a bass drum or a kick drum of a drum set, you actually can feel the dynamics of it when the pedal actually reaches the bass drum. Now let's just imagine if you had 2 kick drums and 2 drummers playing, you would actually feel it a lot more. So essentially this is the same technique that Darkchild used. Don't rely on one channel for just your kick drum. If you really need your kick drum to stand out better in your mix, try duplicating your kick drum and you'll find more dynamics and not so much volume boosting on just one channel. Now you will find that your master bus channel, that will actually increase in volume as well, but it won't put that much strain on that one channel for your kick drum, and you will have the dynamics you need knowing that individually those channels aren't clipping. So yeah, that's the tip. I hope that you can use it on whatever you're working on. And in the comments below, tell me what other tips and tricks that you actually use to make your kick drum actually stand out. And if you all have any other questions about any other tips, tricks, or techniques, you know, please hit me up, let me know. Drop them in the comments below. Actually, in the description below, I actually have an ebook that has some tips and tricks for your music career, also with some vocal setting presets and some starting points that you may need if you mix any vocals as well. It also comes with 5 instrumentals if you need them or not. Also in the description below, I have a full list of all the gear that I use in my studio, so if you're wondering what I use and some other hardware that I use and even software that I use to get the sound that I get, you know, it's in the description below, so you can definitely check that out. And before you go, like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. 1.